Good morning. This is Elder G again. It's Monday, April 7th, 2025. God woke us up one more time. God started us on our way. God closed us on our right minds. God been to the hospital rooms this morning. God already been to the nursing home. God already been behind prison bars and jailhouses this morning. God has already been there with his hands stretched out still. Just waiting for you. Just waiting for you to give yourself to him. Just waiting for you to decide which way you want to go. How are you going to live your life? All the things that we're going to do today, God had to make that decision last night. God had to decide who he has to wake up this morning and who not going to wake up this morning. Who going to be able to hear this broadcast, and he that may start this broadcast but not able to take it to the end. See, all those things there are left up to God. Those are things that we can't control. Those are the things that we have no power over. So in order for us to be smart, and in order for us to be safe on what we're doing about God, is that God, the Bible says that there's two paths in the front of us. And the Bible said that we can choose whatever path we want to go. We can go to the good side, or we can go to the evil side. But the Bible said that we have a choice to choose which way we want to go. So we went to bed last night and we didn't know what the day was going to be like until I woke up this morning and I opened my eyes to a brand new day. Today is the only day to me. Tomorrow is going to be a fresh new day. I'm not going to be able to go back and pick Monday up again because Monday is gone. And as far as to the human being, it's never going to return again. Every day that we get up to a brand new day. We get up to a day that didn't exist to us yesterday, that God brought into existence today. Last video I did, I talked about Psalm 23. I talked about David walking through the valley of the shadow of death. And David didn't feel no evil. I talked about that God prepared a table for David in the presence of his enemies. That God set up a feast. And he had so much on that table that the Bible said that the cup that was on the table, the cup was just running over. See, that's what God will do for you when you trust in him and you believe in him and you let God lead and guide you in the way that you should go. See, today, I believe that this is the last day. You hear me? You hear me say that in most of my videos, because that's what I believe. I done saw all the evolutions and all the evolving things that happens. I've seen people go from kerosene lamps to wood stoves or wood fireplaces, and I've seen people go from propane heaters and wood fires, and I saw people go all the way up until now we're going into space. Those are all the things that can change, that we done saw how things getting easier. We see the robots and everything they're making. We used to think that was just fantasy, that was just cartoons and stuff, fictional movies, things like that. It's what we saw. Now we see all those things live. So we see as life is going by and how things are changing, you can pretty much look and see that these are the last days. Now we see that the war and the tension and everything that's going on between people because of color, the color of people's skin, or where people was born, or who's rich and who's poor. But the main thing that we should be looking at as believers is who's right and who's wrong. Who's godly and who is not godly. See, that's what we gonna have to decide. That's why God keep on waking us up. That's why God keep on giving us an opportunity. Because God's desire is that no one should be lost. But it doesn't matter what God's desire is. What matters is what God has put before. What is in God's plan for his righteous people. That's what matters. Is, are we that confessing that we the chosen by God, and we believe that God is who he say he is? We are the ones that's supposed to represent God's plan. So if we are not willing to represent God's plan, then where are we going to be? If the people that believe in God is not willing to stand up for God, just tell us where we're going to be then. How is this whole thing going to turn out? If the true believers in God will not stand up for what they believe in. If we were really standing up for what we really believe in, and we really believe in what we stand up for, why are we in the condition we in? Why do we always support things that's not right? Why do we always go along with things that that's not right. Is the things that's not right so attracted to you that you just can't help yourself? You just got to go over there and see what's over there. You just got to do it. Is it that more exciting to you than the Word of God and all the miracles and the things that God do for you to be surviving on this earth as you are today? And as I was laying down last night thinking about what I'm going to talk about today, and I started thinking about the evil things that good people let happen right before their eyes. Good people just stand there and let all these evil things happen right before their eyes. But they still won't stand up for God. They still just won't do the right thing. My grandson called me last week because we be talking about Trump and the Republican Party and everything. And he called me and he was talking and he was hot. He was hot because he had lost $13,000 in his 401k. He said first he was trying to get into his 401k and he said, they couldn't get in. So he finally went to the computer and he got in, and then he said he realized how come they didn't let him in, because they had locked everything down because they was losing so much money. So he lost $13,000, and he was telling about his cousin how she had lost over $100,000 in the stock market. That she was gonna retire in 5 years, but with the money that she lost, he don't know if that she gonna be able to retire like she had planned, because she had lost over $100,000 in a 401k. And he was hot, and he was asking the question is, why is it that people that say they know God, that people that say they righteous, why do they just stand there and let this person destroy the country? And I consider that to be a good question. Why is the people of America that know right from wrong then stand back and see so much wrong done to our government, and they won't do nothing about it? There's a lot of people out there on the street now that's doing that. But once you have had a fight, and everybody told you for 4 years that the fight that you having and the fight that you fight so hard for is gonna destroy the country that you say you believe in, and the country that you fighting for. You fighting for a constitution that's been in existence for for centuries. And he'll come along a person that can file bankruptcy at least 5 or 6 times. That's all they do is lie. That's all they do. All they do is try to rob people of their finances and their resources. And there's a person that break all kind of laws right before your eyes. We know right from wrong. Our Father taught us as kids not to lie. I don't know no parent that tell their kids when they raising them up that's okay to lie. It's okay to steal. Or it's okay to murder. See, it's okay to fornicate or commit adultery. No parent tell their kids that, because they don't want their kids to be raised up that way. But now it really don't matter. It's all on social media. A 2-year-old's walking around with a smartphone. All the things, all the evil things that people do, they can see it right there on their smartphone. So how people used to raise their kids, and how people used to teach their kid to respect their elders. And when you're talking to an elder, it's yes ma'am or yes sir. Where is that at now? See, that's all gone by the wayside. All that respect, all that respect your elders, all of that stuff, it's just gone by the wayside. Because the good people, the people that's supposed to be godly, they just stood there and did nothing, and just let us got to the point where we are now, where you don't know how this thing is going to turn out. You don't know how much longer you're going to have freedom, or you're going to have your own life, because somebody else may try to take your life away just because they don't like the way you talk. I never thought in my whole lifetime in America, and you hear all the things that the American people say, and the American people, they were to pledge their allegiance to a flag. Then they pledge their allegiance unto Jesus. Like when we used to go to school, we used to have to stand up and put our right hand over our heart, and we need to pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic which is stand, right? One nation indivisible with liberties and justice for all. But you can get up every morning while people still pledging allegiance to the flag, knowing that they're not treating everybody with liberty and justice for all. Because before you came here to America, you didn't believe in liberty and justice for all. You believed in coming here and conquering and taking what you want. And then once you done took everything you want and possess everything that you wanted to possess, now you can write all these rules for everybody to go by. Now that you can achieve your goal, and now that you think you're on the top. But that's not how God works. That's not what being a follower of Christ's teaching means. The follower of Christ's teaching means that we do follow Christ's example. We follow to love our neighbor as ourselves, right? We was taught it's better to give than to receive. But the same nation that taught us about giving and the same nation that taught us about receiving, it's the same nation that took. That took people respect. That took people families and broke them apart. That took people lives just so they can consider themselves to be living a better life. That ain't what God is all about. God is humble. God is humble. God is about respect. God is about love. God is about looking out for your sisters and your brothers. That's what being godly is all about. Godliness is not about how much money you got in your bank account, or how many cars that's sitting out there in your yard, or how many homes you possess, or how much food is in your fridge. That's not what godly is all about. Godly is about if you got 2 coats and you see your brother or your sister that need a coat, it's about giving them one of those coats. If you got 2 pair of shoes and you see another person that don't have no shoes, you let them have one of your pair of shoes with no strings attached. Just because that's your sister or your brother and they in need. See, that's what I like to talk about. That's what I think about all the time. I think about that this country is one of the most prosperous countries on the planet. That means that we got more wealth and everything than any other country. We number 1. But then we're gonna elect a president that's gonna inherit a great economy and the most prosperous nation in the world. Just think about this. He became the president of one of the largest economies, the most prosperous country on the planet. And then he's going to try to destroy this country and try to pretend like we're a third world country. Just think about this. Here's a man that's ran for election that's saying that he's going to bring down the price of eggs. He's going to take tax off of Social Security and tax off a tip. Come into the office and right away start laying off federal workers that he don't know nothing about, that when they got their job report for the year, they said that they did a great job, excellent job. And this man just gonna walk in and let them go. And the whole goal is that the whole goal of cutting back on government. Just think about this now. These are the people that work for us in the Congress and in the presidency and the Supreme Court. These are people working for us. that came in and just started firing thousands and thousands and thousands of people for only one reason. So he can get enough money so he can give a $4 trillion tax cut to the multi-millionaire and the multi-billionaire. He want to cut your Medicaid for poor people that can't go see the doctor. Probably cut back on Medicare and Social Security. He gonna take away grants to low-income schools. He gonna close down the department to the greatest superpower on the planet Earth, number one. And this man is gonna do all this evil against this country just so he can take the money away from the poor and the needy. Just so he can give a $4 trillion tax cut to multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires. Ain't that something? When we know that the money is our money, that's our money that he taken from the needy people of America, the one that God's supposed to love, the one that Jesus standing there with his hand stretched out still for. He want to take that money away from education. He want to take that money away for the ability for people to go see the doctor on Medicaid. And then he want to cut Social Security, which is hardly enough money to get by on anyway. My Social Security check don't take me through the month. If I want a little bit of extra money, I got to go out and do some kind of side job, because that little Social Security check is not going to take me all the way. But this man, he want to take away benefits for needy people and transfer it to the wealthy. He's not trying to cut the deficit. He's not trying to cut the deficit. The deficit in this 4 years is going to go up about $8 or $9 trillion. We already know that, because when he put the tariffs on these countries, then they retaliated. They're going to put the same amount of tariffs on our country. So everything that you try to sell to China, there's going to be a 34% tariff on there. So your stuff ain't going to sell in China because your stuff is going to be too expensive. See, the Chinese ain't not going to buy your stuff because they just don't want to buy your stuff. They ain't going to want to buy your stuff because your stuff is already expensive to them. And it's going to go up 34%, which is going to make it more expensive. So anybody in their right mind is not going to buy something that's way too expensive when I can buy something right here comparable to it that's cheaper. How long do you think that it's going to take to build a factory in America? Let's say that General Motors did want to bring their factory back to America. They still got to build cars in Mexico while they building the factory in America. So say it take 5 or 6 years to build a factory to get it operating in America. So that means that Donald Trump is already going to be out of office for 2 or 3 years before that first factory that he brought back to America. Before that factory even opened, Donald Trump is going to already be out of office about 2 or 3 years. And everything that Trump tore down. Think about it now. You still got to pay that extra tariff and all the countries that's not America that you're going to start paying taxes on now. And then at the same time, you got to get enough money to build a multi-billion-dollar plant in America while you got a plant over there in Mexico or wherever they are that you're still paying operation for, that you're still paying money for. And you got to somehow get enough money here in America to build a brand new multi-billion-dollar factory. Just so you can close down the factory in Mexico in 5 years. Now you got a whole plant over there in Mexico that you can't do nothing with now. You can't do nothing. You got to close down that plant. Now, what is that plant closing going to do to the Mexicans? They're going to lose jobs. They're going to fall more deeper into poverty. And then that's going to make more of them want to come and slip into America. That's all that's going to do is because whatever you close down all this money flowing, wherever you close down all of these jobs, it's going to cause poverty. Just go to Detroit and look and see what happened when they closed down the auto industry when it was booming. Just look at all the houses and everything. They're sitting at a cake. And when the houses and everything and the houses are empty, what come in? Crime, drug dealing, whoremongering. All those things come in and fill the vacuum. When you land people off and you talking about taking your factories out of other countries that you're going to leave in poverty. And America, when you can sell to the Chinese that large population, to all those foreign countries, that's how you making money. So when you stop getting stuff from China and all your dollar stores disappear, from Taiwan and Mexico, when all your dollar store is $3 stores now and $4 stores now, tell me how putting a tariff or taking your company out of Mexico, show me how that helped you financially. Tell me how that helped you. When you take all the illegals out of the field, out of the apple field or the orange field, or the strawberry field. Tell me how that helped America. When you put a 25% tariff on fruit and avocados and the price go up 25%. Tell me how that helping you here. Did your salary go up? Did your salary go up? No. But the price of the avocado went up by 25%, didn't it? Or your eggs went up, right? How did that help you? How did it help you? During the election, you talking about eggs was too high. You was talking about inflation was too high. But all of a sudden now that the person that you wanted to win won, and you see that person is putting you in a worse position than what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had you in, I don't hear a peep out of you. That let me know when you was out there in the street talking about the price of eggs, and you was talking about inflation, and you talking about interest rates. You didn't mean none of that stuff. That was only a lie to cover up what you really felt and what you really believed in. And it wasn't about the price of eggs. It wasn't about inflation, because if it was, all the people that supported Donald Trump would be saying how wrong they were. But you're not seeing that, are you? You're not seeing that the Republicans in the House and the Senate, you're not seeing the only way that President Trump can do what he's doing is because of the House and the Senate is refusing to put a stop to it. See, if they are refusing to put a stop to it, that means that they believe in what he's doing. They believe in what he's doing. See, we have to start treating them the same way they treat us. There is no way that they cannot know what they're doing. They saw what the stock market did. They see how many people being laid off. They see how frightened people are right now. But they ain't doing nothing to stop the president from doing his evil deeds upon this country. They ain't doing nothing to stop the path that he on. Jesus says that if you with him, he with you. But if you against him, he against you. So Jesus is going to be against wrong. Jesus is going to be against lying and stealing, all the things that you do against God. God is going to be with the one that stands up, that's willing to speak the truth. I don't know how someone could say they love God, that have kids and grandkids and great-grandkids, could go along with helping destroy the greatest economy in the world right now. Make America great again. America is the greatest condition that it ever have been in the history of the country. The economy has never been as big as it is right now. The amount of people, almost 350 million, is the largest amount of people that ever lived in North America. Every measure that you're gonna meet as far as the economy and people. I know China and India has got more people. I'm talking about here, make roughly 350 million people. This is the best it's ever been. You may move 1% or 2% or 3%. The GDP may even go up 4%. But that's just a small margin. That's just like a grain of sand on the seashore. That's what GDP 2, 3, 4%. And you notice over the last 10 years what it been. Like a little over 5, that's the highest it's ever been. So if you took a dollar and GDP growth was 5%, that's 5 cents out of every dollar. So you're gonna destroy the country, change all the rules and the regulations to let farmers lose their farms And people that do contract work, price them out of the price of lumber and steel. Just so you can increase the GDP 5 cents out of a dollar. You're gonna do all that to America. You're gonna put America through all that torture. Just so you can make 5 cents out of a dollar. Everybody know that it ain't worth it. Everybody know that you can't bring on no big boom. Everybody know big plan take years. Big plan take years. My son wanted to open a truck lot where people can park their 18-wheelers up in Pinson, Alabama. He done already spent like $80,000. He just to get the land prepared to be a place for people to park trucks. All they're gonna do is park trucks out there in the lot. And he with the land and the work they need, it's like 80 grand. And he been working on it for over a year yet, and he ain't got fully approved yet that he can open the truck stop. See, people got to understand is when you starting a business, say a car manufacturers, there is so many rules and regulations and everything. Sometimes it may take 15 years to get automotive plant started from scratch. So the things that Trump is promising you, he'll be gone. In 2 years from now, he's gonna be a lame duck. The Congress is probably gonna be them changed hands to the Democrats. All those things that he promising, with all those things, see, he trying to tear down real fast. He trying to tear this country down because he figured it's gonna benefit him. He figured if he tear it down and the people start crying and complaining, what they gonna do is they're gonna vote for stimulus money so he can get his border wall, so he can get all the things that he can get through the Congress and destroy the country in the process. But he want to have on record that he was part of this. No matter what the consequences is, he want to tear down so he can say he built up with his name on it. That's what it's all about. He don't want what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to be better than what he got to do. So what he gonna do is try to destroy to build up. But it's not gonna work like that because he gonna be out of office. Within 2 years, he lamed up. He ain't gonna hardly get nothing. But look at all the damage that he did. Look at all the damage. I get angry just thinking about it. I get angry just thinking about that a man in America, the president, will try to destroy the very Constitution that he and his family was raised up in, and how he and his family got wealthy. He trying to destroy that. This is tough talk this morning. This is it's not really the way I like to talk, because I just can't believe that people in this country will turn their back on the Constitution, which they created. This Constitution is the same Constitution that they themselves created. Just think about this. They are the ones that wrote the Constitution. They are the one that wrote the rule. And the same people that trying to make the federal government smaller and more efficient, those are federal government people. The people that want to make the federal government, like Mike Johnson and all them, Tim Scott and all them, they want to make the federal government more leaner and everything. But they are talking about themselves because they are the one that's the federal government. They are the one that's writing the budget for the federal government. All the waste that Elon Musk and everything, the Republicans is the one that voted for that. The Republican is the one that passed what Elon Musk was calling waste that turned out not to be waste. The Republicans, they're the one that did it. They're the one that passed the bill that gave these grants. They did it. And then they're going to turn right around and say that the federal government is too big. Just think about how arrogant they are. They are the federal government trying to tell you that the federal government is too big when they're actually talking about themselves. They're talking about themselves. Yeah. So they can destroy certain people in this country. Yeah, just so they can hurt certain people in this country. So we can make them look better. I'm gonna make the federal government smaller. That means I'm gonna destroy myself. If I'm a federal government worker, in order for me to make the federal government smaller, that means I'm trying to destroy myself. Who do you know would destroy themselves? Or who do you know that would destroy their own job? This thing, he hired Linda McMahon to be over Department of Education, and she's supposed to be over Department of Education, but at the same time, her order is to destroy the Department of Education. So she's not over the Department of Education. She was put in there to destroy the Department of Education. That's just like the pot calling the kettle black. You is put over the department that you don't believe in. You were simply put there to destroy the Department of Education. You the United States Senate and the House of Representatives, and you say that the federal government is too big. If you reduce the federal government, you're not going to reduce the number of House of Representative people, 435. You're not going to reduce that number because it's in the Constitution. There's 100 United States senators. That number is not going to change. It's going to be 100 United States senators, and it's going to be 435 in the House of Representatives, and it's going to be 9 judges on the Supreme Court. You're not going to reduce that number. So if you're talking about reducing the federal government, but you're going to keep the House of Representatives at 435 and the Senate at 100 and the Supreme Court at 9, you ain't reduced nothing. All you did was went to the Department of Education and fired some people. Now, those people that you just fired, they got to go out and sign up for unemployment. They may have to get some kind of government assistance if they can't find no job. So how is that helping? How are you reducing the federal government? Because you need people to work in the office. You need people to do certain things. You need people to answer the phone. You need people to update everything you need on the computer. Those are people that you can't see. And most of the American people can't see. How do you think everything get on your smartphone? How do you think that happened? Is that there's people that's on computer 24/7. That's updating everything that happened every day, as soon as they can, so you can have it for tomorrow. There's people that you don't even know exist doing things. They big old computer room with thousands and thousands and thousands of people in there to make sure that all the data and everything that's entered into your phone, that all the phone calls that they have to answer, all the text message or email that they have to answer. These are people that you can't even see, that make your life easier through the day. Like I'm doing this video. Just think about all the thousands and thousands of people that's out there working for Meta, that making it so I can do this broadcast right now live. Just think about all the thousands and thousands of people that's involved with this broadcast alone. There's no way that you can have no idea. It's what people doing that give us the luxury to do less work than what we do now. How much work that people have to put into this. You know, I just didn't wake up this morning feeling good about the way we're going and the direction that we're going in. I just didn't feel that good. You know how you can see it's a nice day, but you can see like a haze that's just hanging over the sky. And it may be like that for 2 or 3 days. And you may say, the weather is not that, it ain't just that it's so bad. It's just that it's dreary. You're not excited to see it the way that you figure that you should be. When people love God, when people come together. See, we shouldn't have to struggle the way we struggle. Because there's more than enough resources in this country that no one should have to struggle. No one should have to. Each and every one of us is a different individual. God didn't make none of us the same. On the tip of my finger, it's my fingerprint. But every fingerprint that ever going to exist, every one of them, from now until this world come to an end, every fingerprint on the finger, that finger you see right there, everybody that ever lived, everybody that's ever going to be born, every one of them fingerprint is just on the tip of the finger. Just think about it. Every tip of a finger is different. Every one of them is got a different fingerprint. The number of hairs are the less number of hairs that's on your head. None of them are the same. There's no two people got the same outline on their hair, or the number of their hair. No two people. What a mighty God we have, that every eye that God ever made for eternity can go right on one eyeball. They all just think how bad God is. Just think about all the things that God can do. That God could make happen just with saying it. Just for God saying, let there be. See, God never intended for all us to be the same. God built us and created us so each and every one of us could be an individual. To be and God wants us as an individual to come together as a team. See, when we can take almost 350 million people, and each one got a different design in their eye, and each one got a different design in their fingerprint. But God wants to come all together under his Son, Jesus Christ. He wants you to come under the headship and the protection of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He wants the body to move and operate within the head. Make Jesus the head. And bring the body together as different members. But we all working for the same purpose. We all pressing forward towards the high calling. And we ain't looking at the things that's in our past. We just pressing on, even though we are individuals. But there are things that we need to do as a team. If we want everything to work the way that God wants everything to work, we have to work as a team, even though we are an individual. If you ever worked on an assembly line, there is someone that's gonna start out at the beginning of the assembly line, and then there's gonna be someone at the end of the assembly line, and that could be hundreds of people in between, and each and every one of those people have an obligation to put a part on whatever you're building. Let's say a car. Everyone got an obligation to put their part on the car. And as the car moves down the assembly line, if everybody know what to do, but when there's a crack or there's a break in the link, the line has to be stopped until they can fix the weak link. But see, that's the way God make us. God make us as individuals, and we're supposed to all come under the head of Christ, and we're supposed to let Christ lead and guide us in the way that we should go. Let Christ take on the wind. Let Christ take on the big trees that's in the road that's in our way. Let let Christ make a way for us, a smooth way for us, that we can follow as a team, even though we are an individual. See, when I went to work, and I worked on third shift, so that means that two shifts had already worked, day shift and night shift, and then the graveyard shift. So say I'm on the graveyard shift. So when the first shift come in, they don't leave until the second person get there to replace them for the second shift. So if the second shift person don't show up, that means that I gotta stay there and keep the line running until they can get somebody to come in and relieve me. See, sometimes that we short-handed and can't nobody come in and relieve me. The supervisor or the team leader come over to me and said, Ronnie, could you work, because the person that come in, I need you to work a double shift today. See, so I gotta stay there because I want to keep the line moving. Now, I want to keep the line, see, and that's what Jesus does. Jesus is going to make a way for you so you can keep the line running. It may take 3 shifts for us to get through the day. But God, he don't slumber, and neither do he sleep. That means that God never stops to rest. God never rests. God is always moving, and God is always doing. And what he doing? He making a way for you and for me to follow. Even as an individual, God give us the ability to work as a team. That's what the federal government is. The federal government to this country is the head, is the one that's over all 50 states. So whenever a state falls short, see, a state cannot carry a deficit. No state could carry a deficit because the amount of money that a state brings in, it's not enough money to pay for everything that the states need. Just think about this. Just think about Kentucky. Kentucky gets more money back from the federal government every year than the state of Kentucky gives. They don't, just think about it now. This is what the red states don't never think about when they is running out there, running their mouth. Kentucky is a poor state compared to California or Texas. They got a low population. Well, like 4 million around there. So that's a low population. So that means that as far as California and Texas and New York and New Jersey, that's a low tax base. So the amount of money that Kentucky gives to the federal government, it's nothing compared to what California gives. Because California has got like 40 million people compared to Kentucky, 4. So the amount of money that goes into Medicaid and all the grants and everything that goes to Kentucky, if you cut that off from Kentucky, Kentucky is a third world country. Kentucky don't don't bring in enough money. Neither do Louisiana. Neither do Mississippi. Neither do Alabama or Tennessee or Wyoming or North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. Wyoming is only got less than 600,000 people in the whole state. South Dakota, they don't have nobody. California, they got more people in all them states almost I named alone. But it's always the states that's poor. It's always the states that get more money from the federal government, like Mississippi, like Louisiana, like Tennessee and Kentucky. All those people that give less money to the federal government than what they take in, those are always the one that's complaining. Those are always the one because they always mad. They're always mad because they red states. It's the red states that's poor. Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. Those are the people that got the smallest amount of people. Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Those are all the red states, the poor states. Not poor because the people are dumb. No. They poor because a lot of those states, they're prejudiced states. They prejudiced. They don't want minorities in their state. Just look at Wyoming. Look at how many minorities there. North Dakota, South Dakota. Look at how many minorities there. Montana. Look at how many minorities there. There ain't that many minorities there. In Wyoming, that may be 2,000 blacks in the whole state. See, that's why they poor. That's why you got some rich people there that got a lot of land because there ain't a lot of people there. But just because a few rich people own land don't mean that that's a rich state. It means that it's a poor state that refused to come into the 21st century, that they'll suffer. And the minorities don't want to go there because they know they're going to be disrespected. And they know they ain't going to be treated fair. So the only minority that's going to go there is the one that got pretty good jobs and that can afford to go to these poor states that taxpayers had to bail out all the time. See, when Iowa go out and vote for these people, or New Hampshire go out and vote for these people, and they put them in office, and then they do like Trump, put tariffs, they're going to want the poor people, the majority of the people, they're going to want them to bail them out because of what their leader did. So I'm going to support you to get the minorities out of the country. I'm going to support you in your purge. But I want you to take some of that money that you claim is waste money. It wasn't waste money when we were giving you that money. When Trump put the first tariff, you didn't call it waste money. When Biden came down there and built that bridge and spent over $50 million, you consider that waste money. But every time it's gonna go to somebody that you don't like. See, that's when you got the problem. This country is never gonna change until we change our system. How do you figure the federal government is going to work when the people's in the federal government is saying that they want to shrink the federal government, but they don't reduce the amount of peoples in the House of Representatives? They don't reduce their salary. Do you know how many millions of dollars of taxpayer money that Donald Trump spends every week that he go to play golf? Do you know how many people that have to go alone and how many planes have to fly, F-15s, F-16, whatever, have to fly with Air Force One? Can you imagine every time that plane go up? Now, you done gave this man a house to live in, the White House. And every week, he getting on that plane. Every week, they have to load up his motorcade on a plane and ship them things back and forth every time he go to vacation. Every time he go to vacation, every week he's going to play golf. He's causing us taxpayers millions and millions of dollars, and at the same time, he's talking about waste. There's nobody wasting more money for the United States of America as an individual than Donald Trump. Every time he fly back and forth to Westminster or to Mar-a-Lago, every time he do that, he's going back there for a business meeting, but he's using our tax dollars to pay for all his transportation and all his waste. Millions of dollars just being wasted for nothing. Everything that he wants and needs is right there in the White House. He got chef to cook anything he wants. Any time of night he want it. But he got to go back to Florida and New Jersey to play golf when he's the most terrible golf player there is. It ain't right and it ain't fair. Anybody that want to go along, everybody can see it. Everybody can see it. Everybody can see it. Everybody can see the wrong that's being done. Everybody can see it. I don't care who you are. You can play dumb all you wanna. But that's all you doing. It's playing dumb. I'm just not gonna play along with you. If I can see what's going on, you can too. And plus, people are telling you every day. You see all the protests over the weekend? Donald Trump still lying there playing golf. What he said? Only the strong shall survive. Only the strong. He's talking about only the rich and the power. That's what he's talking about. Only the rich and power is going to survive. My sister and brother, I think that's enough for today. I think that's enough for today. If we don't change, if we don't start standing up for what's right, and we just keep on letting this man and his minions bring our country down, then we really deserve everything that come to us, right? We'll come to a crossroad. We done came to the point of life where we have to make a decision. I'm 67 years old right now. I'm going to be 68 in August. I done lived my life. The first part of my life was real tough. But as time went by, my life got better. Now I'm just retired and kicking back and making videos. I'm telling people what I feel, and I'm telling people what people have put in my heart and in my mind and my soul. The most prosperous country on the planet. And we can't make sure that every human being has got a place to stay. Or we can't make sure that everybody got medical insurance that they can go to the doctor or go to the dentist or go to the eye doctor. That should be our top priority as being a wealthy country like we are. Is to make sure, no matter how lazy or how sorry or how evil a person is, a person deserves to have a roof over their head. A person deserves to have transportation. It don't have to be the best or the most luxury, but a person needs to have transportation that they can get around. People need insurance to go to the hospital when they sick. Now, what part of what I'm saying that you don't agree with? You know, when you're hungry, it'll make you do something to somebody. When you're hungry, and you seeing all this stuff that people got, and you're seeing all the money that people spending, and nobody is willing to help you. Can you imagine what's go through your mind? That you care more about buying a $400 pair of Nike Air Jordan than to help me. You got 3 cars in your yard and you hardly even drive 2 of them. But you won't help me with a car. Can you imagine how that make you feel? Or you hear talking about, I went to the Super Bowl. I spent $10,000 going to the Super Bowl. Knowing your next door neighbor don't even have a car. When you could have took that $10,000 and you could have bought your neighbor a car. You didn't have to give it to him. You could have said, I'll look at how much money you got coming in and I'll give you a car note that you can afford. You don't even have to give it to them. You have to make sure that they got the transportation to get around. See, that's what love is all about. That's what caring is all about. That's why the Bible said, God said, put him first, put him ahead of everything. But you're supposed to love your neighbor just like yourself. If I want something for me, then I should be able to help my neighbor the same way that I'm helping myself. That's what love is. That's what following God is all about. My sisters and brothers, every time I do a broadcast, I always give an invitation for you to come, just like you are. And the reason I do that is because if God don't have no respect for a person, then neither do I. If God would do these things for me, then I know that God will also do them for you. See, sometimes God put you in a situation that God just want to see how you're going to act in that situation. God may put you in a position that you have something that somebody needs. And God put you right there to see how you're going to act when your sister and brother is in need. And you're going to show compassion, and you're going to show no respect for person. God just want to see if you're going to practice the things that you preach. See, you can say all sorts of stuff. You can act all sorts of ways. But when the rubber hit the road, where you have to really practice what you preach, that's what's going to make the difference. That's what's going to show the one that's called and the one that really set aside for the good work of God. So I'm asking you today, I'm asking you this morning to come to Jesus just like you are. Just come to Jesus no matter what kind of condition that you in. No matter what kind of condition you in. As long as you haven't blasphemed the Holy Ghost. That means that you use God's name in vain. As long as if you haven't did that, Jesus said, all you got to do is stop what you're doing. Just stop. Just stop right now. Get down on your knees. Now go into your secret closet. And if you're on the road and the Holy Ghost hits you like that, just pull over to the side. And tell Jesus, thank you. I was on my way to hell. And Jesus stopped by. But Jesus was in the form of a man. I'm on my way to hell. And Jesus just stopped by. He stopped by in the form of a man, or he stopped by in the form of a woman. And they said, can I help you? See, that's what's supposed to happen when things happen for people that belong to God. If I see you broke down on the side of the road, if I can help, I should try to help. If your money, I understand that you could have lost your money gambling. I know. And I'll fuss to you and I'll tell you, man, I told you need to quit gambling. But if I got the resources and those resources is available, I'm gonna be angry. I ain't gonna want to do it. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna want to do it. But since I'm a believer of God, my conscience is bothering me. Sometimes the man or the woman come already walked away with their head down. And I may say, man, hold on for a minute, man. You know, I'm gonna help you this time, man, but don't come to me with that mess no more. Until next time. See, that's the way God works. God brings each individual into the world. And everybody in the world, even though we individual, we have a purpose under the headship of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We all have a purpose. We're supposed to be somewhere at a certain time to fulfill a prophecy. when everything falls into place, everything turns out well. But when there's people that fall short of the glory of God, and the one that's supposed to be in a certain spot at a certain time, but they wasn't there. And whatever God had to offer, it just fell to the ground and passed on to the next one. See, when they say fall to the ground, they don't mean that it falls to the ground. It means that whatever is for Ronnie G, it's for Ronnie G. Now, if I am appointed to be in this certain spot at a certain time, when God dropped His blessing, if I'm not there, it was intended for Ronnie G, but it fell to John. Because John was next in line. That's what it means when God talking about if I'm not where I'm supposed to be, the blessing that I was supposed to receive, it just falls into John's hands. It's not wasted. It's just that I miss my blessing because I pretend like I was one thing when I was really another. That's why I'm asking you today to come to Jesus. Come to Jesus just like you are. God know you done messed up. God know the second that you turn your back on Him. God knew it. Even though God knew it, He still stand there with His hand stretched out still. As long as you have breath in your body, you have an opportunity to come to Jesus just like you are. That's what my invitation is. Just make up in your mind and just do what you made up in your mind to do. Come to Jesus with a humble heart. Come to Him meek. And just tell Him, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I turned my back on you. I'm sorry I didn't help my loved one when I had the opportunity to help them. I apologize. And I ask you for your forgiveness. And then you need to go to your brother or your sister and the one that you have wronged. And you need to apologize to them. And you need to accept the consequences. And the Bible said if they accept, He said, you receive your brother and your sister back again. That also I do in all of my videos. I pray. When I get up, I pray for the people in the nursing home, in the hospital, in the jailhouse, and prison house bar. I pray for the one that's going up and down these dangerous highways. Then I give you an invitation to come to Jesus, just like you are. And then when I get ready to close out, I do my corporate prayer. Jesus' disciples came to Him and they asked Him to teach them how to pray. The same way John taught his disciples. Jesus said, when ye pray, pray ye in this manner. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not, O Lord, into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Now, every time I pray that prayer, I'm praying for my sisters and brothers to come to Jesus while he can still be found. While you still have blood running through your veins. While you still have the opportunity to get down on your knees and confess to Jesus how much you love him. And how much you appreciate him coming through 42 generations to go and hang on Calvary for a wretch like me and a wretch like you. Until we meet again, I appreciate you following me on Facebook. I appreciate you liking and sharing what I'm talking about. Go tell your friend. There's a man that's on Facebook that's talking about God. That's talking about supporting the weak and help build up that's torn down. That love to talk about the Lord, and to love to talk about love and joy and long suffering and meekness. Who love to talk about it every time he come on the broadcast. That invite you to come no matter what condition you in. He still asks you to just come to Jesus, because Elder Jesus is desire is the same as Jesus. Is that Elder Jesus desires that no one should be lost. Just come to Jesus, just like you are. And if you do, may the Lord watch between me and thee while we ask him one from another. I love you. Go in peace. Until we meet again, the next video is going to be Psalm 22. And may have a God bless you in this day. Bye-bye.